Hey everyone, welcome back to Paper Highlighter. Today, we're diving into the drama surrounding 90 Day Fiancé alum Mike Youngquist and his recent social media post. Is it just a sweet moment with his new girlfriend's pet, or is there more to it? Could this new baby be a jab at his ex, Natalie Morditseva? Let's break it down. There's tension simmering between 90 Day Fiancé alum Mike Youngquist and his ex, Natalie Morditseva, and Mike's recent posts fawning over his girlfriend Sarah Rose's pet might be a subtle jab at his former flame. Over the years, Mike has shared a few veiled comments, hinting at lingering feelings for the ex he once lived with. From the start, Mike and Natalie were mismatched. His love for UFOs and burgers clashed with her rigid food rules and less flexible outlook. She often tried to reshape him, frustrated by his quirks, while he admired her looks but didn't seem captivated by much else. Natalie, with her dramatic flair and larger-than-life persona, sometimes seems to be acting out a fantasy, giving fans plenty to speculate about. Mike was not happy with Natalie. Mike Youngquist's relationships often seem short-lived, and during his time with Natalie, he was either quietly frustrated or vocal about his complaints. Yet, with other partners, Mike transforms into the picture of romance, showing a more joyful and affectionate side, rather than bringing playfulness or passion to his relationship with Natalie. Something she might have enjoyed, he remained reserved and stoic, leaving much to be desired in their dynamic. With Natalie, Mike was irritated, grumpy, and boring. Mike worked too much and was initially unwilling to move out of his rural enclave, making her freeze in his farmhouse. He was not an amusing person. Then again, she was truly insufferable. A childish shrew who expected babies and glamour galore from a debt-ridden man who lived in a bare-bones residence in rural Sequim, Washington. Mike has clearly changed since his time with Natalie. With each new partner, he's become the picture-perfect romantic, which raises some red flags. It almost feels like he's trying too hard to paint himself as happier than ever, possibly to provoke a reaction from Natalie. The question is, why does he care what she thinks? This behavior seems to suggest he's pushing a narrative, not just for the public, but perhaps for Natalie as well. Take his current relationship with Sarah, for example. In the past, Mike was equally enamored with Marcia Alves, calling her the love of his life, until she left. Now, with Sarah, it's a similar story. He's doting on her dog, which he now refers to as their baby, and playing the role of a blissful family man. It's as if he's trying to show the world, and maybe Natalie, that he's moved on, perhaps a little too loudly. Mike is complicated. Is Mike, who calls his new girlfriend a sugar queen, really as simple as he appears, or is he just putting on a show? Can he truly be happy with anyone who isn't Natalie, or is he trying to make her jealous? Despite the trouble in their relationship, it's possible he still thinks about her. But why? Rather than moving on, he seems to be performing for Natalie, who likely watches from the sidelines on Instagram, even if she tries to ignore it. Mike might make it work with Sarah, but if his past relationships are any indication, this one may eventually implode too. Sure, it's possible he's found real love, but Mike's quirky lifestyle and workaholic tendencies could make it hard for any woman to stick around long-term. He has a habit of falling for women, only to get caught in toxic cycles that lead to inevitable breakups. In many ways, he and Natalie aren't so different. Both seem to repeat the same patterns that derail their relationships. Does Mike want Natalie back? Are his "I'm so happy" posts really desperate cries for attention? It's possible. While troubled relationships often seem doomed, they can have an undeniable allure, offering a rush of excitement that normal relationships may lack. Yes, they usually end in tears, but the emotional roller coaster can be addictive, making the highs feel exhilarating compared to the mundane. People often crave what isn't good for them, whether it's junk food, alcohol, or toxic relationships. Sometimes the lack of self-control makes it hard to resist. That might explain why Mike seems to miss the chaotic dynamic he and Natalie had. But what's really going on? His barrage of try-hard Instagram posts, which carry a distinct revenge romance vibe, don't necessarily signal true love. They raise questions about the negative patterns he seems stuck in. Would a genuinely happy person need to broadcast everything online like this? Wouldn't they be savoring their private life? The way people curate their social media suggests they want to appear perfect, which makes you wonder if Mike's constant sharing is more about creating an image than living out an authentic, happy relationship. Even posts that seem vulnerable often have an underlying humble bragging quality. There's an inherent narcissism in sharing online. Most of the time, it's a form of self-promotion. And while there's nothing wrong with that, it's clear that Mike's posts seem geared toward his ex, Natalie. It's as though he's putting his happiness on display specifically for her her benefit, perhaps trying to provoke her, make her think, or even make her miss him. What he clearly doesn't want is to be ignored by her. But in reality, the best strategy for both might be to simply avoid each other. Sure, neither Mike nor Natalie seem capable of sustaining a healthy relationship, but that doesn't mean they're bound to stay apart forever. Mike might come off as the perfect partner online, but looking back, was he really the ideal lover? Not by a long shot. He had a sharp wit and intelligence, but beyond that, he brought issues to the table, money problems, passive aggression, that ultimately sabotaged his relationship with Natalie, who, though stunning, could be just as dramatic.